in operation. This is where we're talking about today. So right now we're at the Headworks building, and this is where all the flow from the city comes into first. And the object of the things down here is to remove all the large objects before it gets down to the treatment plant, so that we don't have to deal with that stuff down there. It's always better to get that stuff out of the water here than down there, because it's easier to treat. And I can kind of go through some stuff with you here. This is where the actual flow comes in from the whole city. And the thing you have to remember about wastewater is it's 99.9% water. It's that 1/10 of 1% that we as operators try to treat, so we can provide a good effluent discharge out to the Mississippi River. So this is where the flow comes in, and this is a power screen. This removes like the large objects, like there's like boards or whatever is in there that would collect a lot of these bars. And this will go down, and it'll raise it up, and then it'll go through this tube here. And eventually it gets dumped into this garbage can. Then we just dispose of this at the landfill. And then the picture of the flow, the wastewater flow keeps flowing through here. It's under 100 degrees and stuff right now, but the flow is coming through here, and there's a light flow of grit remover we have right here. That removes all the grit, sand, eggshell, stuff in the water. And then it goes on that compactor, screw compactor there. And then that also gets discharged into this garbage can, which we remove also to the landfill. So as the water comes in, at this building we're removing, this is kind of pre-treatment, removing the large objects, sand, eggshell, anything that would, happen to that particular wastewater. Okay, we're down at the wastewater treatment plant now. We had just left the Headworks building, and that's where we were removing all the stuff from the water before it gets down to this point. Now the water flows down to the wastewater treatment plant. We're in the laboratory. We'll go over some stuff here, and then we'll actually go out and see some of the stuff we talked about. And I guess the first thing here is, I guess we could look at this diagram first before we get into the controls and stuff like that. We were down at the Headworks building, and the flow kind of goes underneath the viaduct, the bridge, and all that stuff, and it's piped down into the plant here. The flow kind of enters into what we call like a couple selector tanks, which are these two tanks right here, which I'll show you out there. They provide a little air to freshen things up like that, and then from there it is pumped into our first stage basins, and then back into our second stage basins, and then into our clarifiers. Once it's in our clarifiers, it's like a cleaner type of water, and then we send it out to a contact basin where it is eventually discharged out to the Mississippi River. And like I had said earlier, with wastewater, it's 99.9% water. It's that 1/10 of 1% that we're trying to treat to provide a quality effluent. Years ago, we had an old plant down here right next door. It was a trickling filter plant, and then all of a sudden the DNR came up with, we got to provide a clean effluent for boaters and swimmers and stuff like that. So we invested money into a new wastewater treatment plant. This was built in 1999. It was built by Aeromod, and it was engineered by IAW out of Dubuque. So it's a relatively easy plant to maintain. It's much easier than the old trickling filter system and stuff like that. As the water, like I say, comes in, I guess on the biological side of the wastewater, it contains thousands and thousands of microbiology, like bugs that clean the water. They eat the water. They're so small that you have to take a sample of water, and if you look at them underneath a microscope, you can actually see the little movement of the phlagmatites and all the stuff that's going on there, silites and stuff. So in order for those bugs to survive, we have to provide oxygen for them, so they can eat and swim, and they clean up the water. And if you get into the biology part of it, in your school projects and stuff like that, it's, you get into all that stuff. But it's amazing to look at the water that comes into the plant, and then by the time it goes through all the processes, when it leaves the plant, it's like a crystal clear water that gets discharged out to the river. And there again,
through this whole process, we have to run tests and send samples into the to laboratory and fill out reports for the DNR. And we're under their, you know, we have to maintain some restrictions as far as what we can do, what we can't do. But we do run some tests here. We run some settable solid tests, some deal with dissolved oxygens, pHs, temperatures. We send into the lab for some CBOD tests and TSSs. As far as our board is concerned here, these charts, this is measuring the water coming into the plant, and this is the water being discharged out. The water coming in is the influent, water going out is the effluent. And obviously if there's a situation where we had like higher flows or rain or something like that, or in the spring, this would be much higher. This is a PLC, and this kind of explains, this is where we just were. This is where the headworks building is with the 2 process pumps. I'm telling you, this pump is running right now at 280 gallons a minute, or 326 gallons a minute, pumping down into the plant. And I was talking to you about those storm pumps. When the flows are so great that the plant cannot accept so much, we have storm pumps that kick in down there, which would be these 2 things here. And all they're doing is pumping the water directly into this EQ basin. And that's that big round thing I'll show you when we get outside. Or on the map, it would be this big round thing. It holds 1.8 million gallons of water. So it's like a holding tank that we can hold stuff there until our flows drop down, and then we can manually pump it in the plant and then process it all. So that way it doesn't get bypassed or discharged in the river. So I have stuff over here that we run some of our tests. We keep our charts every day for our influent, effluent flow. Some of our lab equipment. We have neometers, dissolved oxygen, so we can measure how much oxygen is in the basins for those bugs to survive, in case we have to make adjustments to provide more air for them. Ovens for baking when we do our sample tests and stuff like that. These are some jugs that we have samplers out there that we have to send into the lab twice a week or twice a month. We have to do that. And then coming March 15th, we can start our chlorination system, where we actually we have gas cylinders, and then on the effluent that's discharged in the contact basin, we provide chlorine to make sure we have a good kill for everything that goes out to the water. But as you can see when I show the effluent, it's like a glass of water. This holds 1.8 million gallons of water. The favorite part about my job is with working with the utilities. You know, we have the opportunity to do everything. You know, we're involved with cable, we're involved with water, we're involved with electricity, we're involved with wastewater. So it's always something different. You know, we can be, you know, it's kind of in a small town. You kind of have to know a little bit about everything. So that's, you know, it's not the same thing day after day after day after day. So I'm very happy working with utilities. You know, you get the opportunity to do different things. So working with a good bunch of guys, a good boss. So it's nice, you know, being born and raised in Bellevue and staying in Bellevue. So I like that part about it. You know.